Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Adventure Time, which we'll be getting into today. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Sam Quattro.
Hello.
And John McKenna.
Hi, everybody.
Today, Sam, John, and I will be discussing the first 3 episodes of this new episode week of Adventure Time. We're going to be talking Abstract, Ketchup, and Fionna and Cake and Fionna that aired, this is coming out Wednesday. Fionna and Cake, Fionna aired tonight. The other 2 aired Monday, Tuesday, and they've all been up on the CN app all week. We'll be covering the last 2 new episodes that are airing this week, which I think this is supposed to be like a pseudo season finale week, but the season, I don't even want to say what season it would be because the season designations are getting all weird. But yeah, we're talking these 3 episodes tonight. Then on Friday, we'll have up Whispers and 3 Buckets. So check out all of our content on overlyanimated.com. We've been covering Adventure Time more regularly as we head down the final stretch at some point of the show. And we'll have we have a bunch of stuff there. Subscribe to us. Our Adventure Time only iTunes feed is also at overlyanimated.com. So let's get into these 3 episodes: Abstract, Ketchup, Fionna and Cake and Fionna. Sam, what did you think of all 3 of them in general, and which stood out to you the most?
In general, I don't know, they seem pretty run-of-the-mill. Like, I don't know, especially, like, I'm not really a big fan of the Fionna and Cake episode, so that one is just, like, a real write-off to me. The other 2 are alright. Ketchup was the one I felt most about. I thought it was adorable.
You felt most connected to it?
Yes, yeah. Connected. I loved it.
I'm not about Fionna and Cake episodes a blasphemous statement to the Adventure Time fandom? I'm not sure.
No.
I feel like that might be blasphemous.
I mean, maybe like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago when like the first like Fionna Cake.
That's true. It's been a while.
Episode came out. Yeah. So like it doesn't matter. Like they're just like, it doesn't matter.
What do you think overall of the quality of the 3? Ooh, okay. Medium, says Sam.
Okay.
They were okay.
Yeah, thanks for interpreting that as medium.
That's medium. Okay. John, what about you? What do you think of all 3 of them in general, and which stood out to you?
I actually quite liked all of them. It sort of felt like classic Adventure Time. We had the kind of sort of psychedelic episode with Abstract, though I like how they toned it down a little bit, which is ironic because for a title called Abstract, it was probably the least abstract of those kind of episodes, but I appreciate that because it made it easier to follow. Ketchup was just adorable because you saw Marceline and Bimo. Bimo had probably the best vampire hunter getup I've seen in a while. That was fantastic. And Fionna, Cake, and Fionna was probably the weakest of the 3 for me, mostly because I started dreading it the moment I saw that old lady as Fionna, because I'm like, oh no, don't tell me they're going to merge the universes. I'm still confused on how it ended, and I'm not sure if it's the good kind of confused, where I think there's more. It's confused as in, wait, what? Huh? Come again? What did they just do? Back up. Don't begin here. But other than that, I liked them. It was enjoyable.
Yeah. I thought these were 3 solid episodes of the show. I'm not crazy in love with Abstract or Ketchup, but I think they're definitely solid. Ketchup's like a hard episode to evaluate. I love the Bimo and Marceline interactions, but I didn't love the stories themselves.
Why not?
I love the artwork.
I did love the art style, yeah, but they were just kind of simplistic and, on purpose. Obviously, it's all on purpose. Like they're clear what they're going for, but it's not like deep narrative or anything. I did like the animation style of both of them for sure. Fionna and Cake and Fionna, I really liked it. I'm generally a fan of the Fionna and Cake episodes, and I loved this one. What John is talking about, like how you don't understand like what happens at the end. I loved it. I love the plot implications of what happened. If we're going to get into it, like I really want to talk about the Adventure Time world implications of what happened here. Just in general, I think it's like a really well put together episode. And like a really interesting direction to take the Fionna and Cake series. It's like, okay, it's not another played for straight episode of that series. It's incorporating it into the real world, and we also get like 3 minutes of Fionna and Cake adventures as well. So that one I really enjoyed. But yeah, I think all of these are good, and yeah, I think the quality of Adventure Time in general is very high right now, and this week's episodes demonstrate that. I don't know what the lead story here is. In terms of plot, there's each episode has a big plot takeaway. So we could start with that. Like, what are the implications on the overall Adventure Time universe? Like Abstract, is the direct follow-up to the end of Elements. We see Blue Jake, and then by the end, he's back to Yellow Normal Jake, where he learns a lesson, I guess, different yet the same. Sam, what did you think of this kind of like philosophical takeaway that Jake had from the Abstract episode, and what do you think of like turning him back yellow so soon?
I think it was wrapped up too neatly. Like, to be honest, I don't think it should have been like that at all. I think, there's a lot to say about, philosophical things and like, inside, outside, same, blah, 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 whatever. But I don't know. It's just, we just got all that build up at the end of Elements for nothing, almost. Like, if you're just going to change it back the next episode, at least like keep him blue for a little while, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we lasted about 10 minutes there. 10 minutes of Blue Jake.
Yeah, we didn't get to like see like we saw some people's like reactions, but it was, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I think Root Beer Guy had the best Blue Jake reaction of it's like, oh, you're fine. No, wait, you're Jake? Like, I enjoyed that. John, too soon to revert back to old Jake?
I was expecting it to be quick, but I didn't expect it to be this quick. So in a sense, I do agree with Sam. I thought the message was pretty good in the end. It's different but the same, because you have to remember, Jake was still Jake through this whole time. He wasn't possessed. He really wasn't anything other than just himself. Only his exterior had changed, really. And I do feel like we have been a little bit cheated out because we know the consequences of Jake's birth, and that this was sort of the next step in that. Jermaine referenced it. We had seen that in Joshua and Margaret investigations for seasons back. So I am a little disappointed, but I thought the message was pretty good, and the episode itself still kind of got that point across. So I think they nailed it on the message. I would like to see maybe 2 or 3 more episodes, though. Yeah,
I don't really know what the point of doing that is if we're just going to revert them next episode. Like it's supposed to be this big takeaway from Elements. Even if it's not supposed to be this big takeaway, at least it's at the end and it's the only consequence of what happened. And then we're just reverting him back next episode. I agree. I like the kind of thematically the message of what happened in this episode, and I do think this is a good use of this kind of plot vehicle. But it seemed very fast. I don't super care. So what? Okay, he changed back to fast. It's not that big of a deal, but I think we all expected it to last a little bit longer.
I find myself not really caring a lot about Jake episodes. I don't know. It's just a lot of Jake's personality as a character is way too like mellow and way too like whatever. And I don't know. I just don't think too much go with the flow. He's too Jake, and like he just acts like nothing is really ever a problem. And like in this case, maybe that's true, but like with everything else, it's just like his lack of conflict just makes me unattached to him, and I don't know.
Yeah,
that's my feel.
That's how you feel. That's your feelings on. Yeah, I can't really speak for Jake. Jake's always been not my favorite. So, John, how do you feel about how Jake's been used in the series recently, and like this Jake episode in particular?
It's in keeping with how he's been throughout the whole show. I mean, of course, Jake needs to be sort of the cool, calm, collected character, because you have Finn, who is just constantly running around all over the place trying to get into adventures, getting very emotional. So you need that you need Jake to temper Finn, you need Finn to temper Jake. So I didn't really see any real problem with that. And, Jake goes with it. I mean, why wouldn't he? I mean, okay, he's blue, he's got 5 eyes, but so what? He likes that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe if likes is too strong of a word, but why wouldn't he flow with that? It's kind of a good reinforcing thing that he's going with the flow. He's enjoying it. He's accepting life as it comes to him rather than trying to freak out about it or trying to maniacally change it as Finn would. So I think that's a really good trait of his character. Does it and it holds up even when he has his own solo episode.
Yeah, it's a good point. Do you think that like this takeaway from Jake here is just emblematic of Jake's character overall? Like that the message is that he's like still him and like going with the flow type of thing?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting interpretation. Sam, definitely a question for you here, which is that this episode uses this abstract painting metaphor to kind of communicate Jake's philosophical lessons from him being blue. Just, like as our art expert, what do you think of how abstract art was incorporated into this episode and how it related to the themes?
Well, abstract art, and like its basic, definition is just, an abstraction of something, right? It really depends on like what the movement is that we're talking about, depending like, what it's actually about. Like abstract expressionism, for example, was just like an expression of people's like abstract feelings, Jackson Pollock, blah, blah, blah. I think it was an interesting metaphor and way to learn in this episode. I don't know. It's interesting that, they say, oh, Jermaine, you paint landscapes, you don't paint abstract paintings. Something must be wrong with Jermaine if he's painting abstract, blah, blah, blah. And I thought what Jermaine was saying about how, eventually, like, the landscapes stopped becoming that and they just became shapes. And I think that was something that really hit to, like, the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah.
For some reason, when I saw that scene and I saw him paint that, I don't know, Sam, you could probably either clarify or disagree with this, please, because I actually was really looking forward to your art history interpretation of this episode. But I'm serious. Like, it reminded me of Pablo Picasso a little bit. He started off as a very classically trained painter. He did very conventional portraits and stuff like that. And then as time went on, they became more and more discombobulated and more abstract. I kind of got that vibe with Jermaine.
Well, yeah, it was, Picasso has like this famous quote out there. It's like, it took me, all my life to learn how to paint like a child. If you look at Picasso's work, like when he was 14, 15, he was painting like really realistic portraiture. And if you look at his work later in life, it's like just a lot of shapes and squiggles, all that. So I think,
like, he wasn't as abstract as Jermaine was being, but
yeah,
I'm not even sure what the proper term of his movement was, but
Picasso was like a cubist, for the most part. So yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting to just figure out, like, in the art world, usually, like, what people on the outside praise, and, like, a lot of people within the art world praise as well, is, more, realistic interpretation over just, abstraction. And as my personal theory, I don't really remember if this is actually how it went. As sort of a photography became a thing, down went, landscape and portraiture paintings, and came up abstraction. Of course, there were things happen like World War One, Dadaism sprung from that, Futurism, all this stuff. So it's very interesting to see how art has like moved on and how artists sort of evolve over time, and like how paintings become more about feelings than they do about representing an image.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that it's an interesting vehicle to use for the themes in this episode. And so one of your big takeaways, like what Jermaine said, rings true from, they stop looking like what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it becomes more about just like a feeling. Or like, yeah, exactly.
That's cool. And so that's a heavy component of the episode. And also, like, that's how we get the takeaway with like the painting floating around his head at the end. For some reason, I thought that was interesting.
I really like the mountain painting, by the way.
You're a fan?
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I didn't really like any of the other ones, but I like the mountain one.
Cool. Yeah. So that's good. I'm glad we got our art history segment into about
No
this
problem.
episode.
I don't have a degree for nothing.
Art degree going to use here. Yeah. How about the use of Jermaine in this episode? John, what do you think of him as a character and how he was incorporated here?
Ever since I started watching Steven Universe, I can't watch Jermaine without immediately going to Greg.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
was telling Dylan this.
He sounds just like Greg. Yeah.
Well, it's the same guy.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is just a bit unfortunate because you do sort of wish that Jermaine could be Tom Shelby could bring something just a little bit more different to Jermaine so that you could have that distinction. But using Jermaine, I think it helped a bit because having him there, the fact that he was actually now doing abstract painting, it did sort of help color Jake's transition into being this blue five-eyed monster where the essence of who he is still there, just like how the essence of a mountain is still in the painting that he was doing. And things do change, but as long as the center of one's soul remains the same, that's really all that matters. And I think it took Jermaine to get that through because he does think like that. He has that grounding, and he does through it in his art. So I think he did add a lot of uniqueness to Jake's problem, and it was really a way that only someone like Jake's brother could help him with. Like Finn couldn't help him with it. Lady Ranicorn couldn't help him with it. It really had to be a close sibling to Jake to get him through that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jermaine is a good choice as someone close to Jake, kind of like one of the only possible choices at this point. But I never remember too much about his character, but I thought it was an interesting portrayal here.
He's a Greg Dog AU.
Yep, Greg Dog AU. That's Sam's new fic.
Also, not like a musician, but an artist. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Like very slightly different AU. Yeah. Also in this episode, we get zombie root beer guy, which I enjoyed. We have Lady Rainicorn trying to change Jake's color. We have James, which I vaguely remember a previous episode about.
Oh, James.
Yeah.
There are like a couple of episodes about him, and
the last one like combining them into one thing, I guess. Yeah.
It was like he was a soldier. He kept dying, but every time Princess Bubblegum would save a piece so that he could be turned into another clone. And then he figured out every time he did that, he'd get more and more medals. So they basically created a bunch of clones. He basically created a bunch of clones of himself so that he could make medals. They then got smushed together at some point in some accident. So PB was like, okay, that's enough. Here's a medal for everything you've done. Go protect the wasteland. Don't bug me anymore. And that's what he was doing.
Okay, yeah, still protecting the wasteland. I do remember enjoying that one. I should rewatch that.
It was just such a weird, odd episode, but it was so hilarious just to see how PB got madder and madder as time went on.
Yeah. Just random cameos, I guess, as we continue to go through our list of characters towards the end of the show. We had the Wall of Water, which I like this dialogue exchange. The Wall of Water, like a waterfall? No, the thing I said, says James. We had Bryce, who I don't remember at all. If that was
he was the demon in the cellar that Jermaine kept behind the force field with that tape.
Okay, that was kind of recently. I should probably remember that. Yeah, gotcha.
Season 6, I believe.
Okay, so I see. Yeah. I think I thought a notable story quote was, "Dad told me you might go through some changes someday," said Jermaine. Not really clear on any of what in like what's happening, but seems to be at least somewhat expected. We had like Jake's like shapeshifter dad in the dreams, but not clear how real that is. It was like Jermaine was in a dream, but then it was the same thing in IRL. So I don't know what to take away, but somewhat of an abstract episode, as the title would imply. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So there you go. There's abstract, good stuff there. Certainly a lot that we got into there. Let's talk Ketchup. Which I guess is Ketchup because Ketchup, like they say that like in 2 seconds of dialogue. But
yeah, let's catch up.
Yeah. So our big story takeaway is Marceline's mother in the pictures on this flash drive that BMO portrays. We don't really learn anything about her, but young Marcy and her mom are there.
They definitely went to the beach once.
They went to the beach once. What do you think of this, Sam?
Her mom or just the episode?
Her mom.
Her mom's cool. You know, she's nice. Seems nice. I don't know. The beach is fun. Rebecca Sugar. Yeah.
Yep. John.
I wonder how Marceline happened.
Yeah. This is a good question.
I think that was kind of established. She's half human, half demon.
No, but like, how did that happen?
Chance encounter, romantic fate. I don't know.
Is it? What are the specifics here? Yeah, I agree. I wonder if how much we'll be addressing. What do you think of the pictures of Marcy's mom, John?
Adorable, and it is sort of like the last piece of Marceline that has not been addressed by the show yet. It's her relationship with her mother, and I'm glad they're touching on that because we don't know anything about her beyond that she's a human and is voiced by Rebecca Sugar. So, and it was it was sweet to see that after all those years. You could really see the look on Marceline's face, and it was touching. Like, she really does she misses her mother. She really wants to know more about her, and I thought that was a great scene.
Yeah, it was great. I was potentially expecting a little more of a story movement there, but it was also nice to just get that. Instead, we get BMO's Moon Lady story, which was fine.
That was nice.
It was nice, yeah. Let's talk the three stories that we get in this episode. So the first one is BMO's retelling of Islands, involving like a giant cat and stuff. What do you think of this one, Sam?
It didn't happen.
Well, yeah,
so it's wrong.
None of these are exact. They discuss this in the episode. BMO's like, it's emotionally truthful.
Not really, BMO. Like, wake up. It was alright. I like the art style. Cats, they're cool. Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, John?
I was trying to figure out how well this related to the episode Orb, but I guess in BMO's eyes, because we know BMO has just a vivid imagination, that's probably how it went down to him. So I thought it was enjoyable. I just like the cat going, "Hi, I'm Tim."
Yeah.
Just randomly. It was all right. I liked it. It actually followed the episode fairly closely. As close as like something that abstract could be.
Yeah.
The one thing I noticed, and I was bugging me this, he notices he said there's a blue jay, and the blue jay's just going, whoa.
Oh yeah, wasn't that Mordecai?
Yeah, it looked like Mordecai, yeah.
That I think that was an actual deliberate tip of the hat to a regular show. I thought that was cute. It's sort of like the two long-standing Cartoon Network shows giving each other a high five.
Yeah, I guess that's what that was. That was very weird to see. I enjoyed the style of this one. It was very interesting artistically. In terms of the content, I didn't take much away, but I liked the different animation styles on all these dreams. Next we have Marceline's puppet retelling of Elements, where we have she's actual puppets. Then we go into we zoom into the puppets themselves as their own thing. What do you think of Marcy's like rock star girl, lollipop girl, Sam?
Loved it. Wanted more.
Do you want a whole episode of this?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Can never have enough of that Rockstar Girl and Lollipop Girl.
Is Rockstar Girl your fave character?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, no. Didn't I say Lollipop Girl was?
I don't remember.
I think I did when we did our list the other day.
Okay. Lollipop Girl is your fave. Gotcha. John, what do you think of this one?
I like the art style. It reminded me so much of Dr. Seuss.
Mm-hmm.
Weekend City, where clocks are illegal and everyone is chill as heck, which sounds really awkward. I feel like the writers knew what they wanted to say and realized, oh crap, we can't say that. This is a cartoon. But it was definitely an interesting story. It sort of fills in what happened in the Candy Kingdom before Finn and Jake and BMO landed, where I guess Marceline did actually try to stop Patient St. Pym. Got the antidote, but by then it was too late, and she just sort of surrendered because she couldn't fight it.
Oh,
I like
tragically romantic.
Yeah, so the puppet thing again. I like the art style, but I didn't take a ton away from the actual story.
So why does she have potatoes in her house? They're not red.
It's a good question.
Why does she have any food that isn't red in her house? That doesn't make any sense.
People visit.
I guess so. As she makes potatoes.
I don't offer my guests food because it's my food. I only buy food for me.
This is yeah. How many visitors does Marceline get? I guess we go sometimes to her house, like every 2 seasons. So I guess that's when we need food for every 2 seasons.
Finn probably. Oh, Finn comes by. Maybe PB drops by every once in a while. Ice King will invade at some point.
Yeah. Well, Ice King's probably sometimes welcome, but yeah. And even though he would probably not know it, but yeah. That was good. That's how we brought Patience back into the story. There's all these it's like all these voice actors are going to be in this week of episodes. I think Adam Mudo tweeted, and it's like, oh wow, all these characters are coming back. Patience coming back because Lauren Lap's going to be there. Nope, it's like in this weird story retelling, and also is true of well, I guess I won't spoil for the next 2 episodes how this incorporates there too. Yeah, but a lot of potential plot movement that was just kind of these weird flashback type things. So yeah, I enjoyed the puppet one, and then we had the BMO Moon Lady thing at the end, which was nicely animated as well. Other elements of the episode, Marceline's bass song in the beginning. Thoughts, Sam?
If she does lick the amp, she wouldn't like the taste because she would get electrocuted.
Yeah, probably not a
BTW.
smart. Not a smart move to lick the amp. I agree.
Hot takes on cold foods. Amps.
Oh, is amps the choice?
Don't eat them.
Don't eat them. Okay.
I would say ketchup.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
ketchup.
Ketchup's another good.
I like ketchup a lot.
Okay.
I eat it with pretty much everything.
Yeah, I agree on that. I love BMO's entrance wanting to hunt vampires. Just 6 months late on that. I am the guy who hunts those guys, says BMO. I love that.
It's nice to get like a timeline on these things.
Yeah, it is. That's true. We've had a lot of weird miniseries stuff. So the Stakes 6 months ago, noted. I also hunt data recovery, says BMO. I love the flash drive percentage bar going up, and it's like it's going to take a while. I thought that was very funny, the way they drew that out. Then we have we say normies at one point during the puppet story, which I would like to officially condemn the use of normies in Adventure Time. Don't say that word.
Why?
No, not no weird like Reddit Reddit 4chan type culture with normies. No, thank you. It's like a reference to that. But and then the ending not believable, I guess. Says BMO. I think it's about Marcy's story. Yeah, so there you go. Anything else from Ketchup?
I thought I like that it's setting up probably the story of Marceline and her mother. I think that's the biggest takeaway, that it's probably going to start getting addressed more often. And there is an episode called Hudson and Marcy that's supposed to happen later on in the season, so that should come into focus.
Yeah, presumably we will get back to this, and this is only the beginning. So very excited for more Marceline's mom and our Shugs coming back. Let's talk Fionna and Cake and Fionna. So the story takeaway from this one is that Fionna and Cake was a real television show from the past, and it is being actually beamed into Ice King's head every night. So does this make any sense, Sam?
Which part?
All of that, all parts.
I mean, I guess like it's just kind of like a funny, haha, it was a thing in the past and now it's happening now, sort of thing. I don't know. The beaming in the head thing was kind of. We'll probably figure out who's doing it's. You know what? It's probably Betty. No, Betty's dead, isn't she? I don't know where Betty is.
Oh, someone could be beaming it. Yeah, themselves. That's true.
Who knows?
Yeah. John, what do you think of this?
Maybe it's me.
Maybe it's you. Yeah, I think you're beaming it. John, what do you think of this takeaway that Fionna and Cake was real?
The fact that he has those ideas beamed into his head actually makes sense, because I was going to assume that actually is possible in Adventure Time, that someone could be beaming specific ideas into other people's heads. But the part that didn't make sense was the idea of Fionna and Cake as a TV series. I'm still racking my brain on that.
Buy or sell as that being plausible. You're selling.
Oh God, I'm gonna sell just I feel like I have to buy it because it's been established by more than just by someone other than Ice King. But I'm selling it as a good idea because I'm just thinking it's like, wait, so Adventure Time has its own Adventure Time. What?
Yeah,
like 1,000 years in the past.
But that in the words of Finn in this episode, I have like a bazillion questions right now.
Yes. I love that Finn, like, a bazillion questions that he just gets knocked out of the way and is not a part of the rest of the episode. That's very funny to me. I am buying this being funny and selling its plausibility because, it makes no sense that Fionna and Cake would have been a real TV show and now everything happens to have been the same now, except it's gender swapped and all the details are the same. It makes no sense, unless somehow these past radio waves are like affecting how people behave in the present. I feel like that's the only way. But,
I don't know. Maybe it's just the role of fate. I don't know. Hasn't a TV show ever taken a detail from your life?
Yeah, but
every
single detail is the same. So, no, it's just all a giant coincidence. I think it's very funny, but
well, maybe it has to do with like time travel. Maybe somebody saw Finn and Jake, and I was like, oh,
yeah, we got to bring.
And then they travel back in time to make a successful TV show. There you go. That's true. Sam figured it out.
Actually, that's a good point. It would have to bring time travel in, and then that would make sense. I don't think we're going to address this again. I think it's just a funny concept that we're throwing in there. It feels very Adventure Timey to have this part of the canon. Although, yeah, it makes zero sense. I love the beaming into the Ice King's head joke at the end. In the beginning of the episode, it's like, how do you get your ideas? Like the typical stupid, book talk question. It's like, I get beamed in my head like everything else. And then it actually is what happens at the end. That's
what are the other ideas that get beamed into his head?
Like everyone else. Yeah, I guess that would imply that all the ideas, but yeah, he thinks that's how everyone gets ideas. And it's also just a great satirical takedown of like the concept of like a muse. Like artistic inspiration just coming to you and it just happens. I love it. This is one of the funniest things the show has done for me in a while. It's really good. And I love this as being part of the Fionna and Cake canon, cause it's just so ridiculous. Just this whole episode's, like sense of humor is very good, like really worked for me. Just to like kicking Finn out of the way and just Ice King, the like belligerent, like, book reader, like, I am very open to criticism, says Ice King. I love that. I want to like start playing that during I want that as a sound clip for the podcast when people critique us. Yeah, that's me. And just the whole episode sense of humor was so good, and this is such a bonkers episode, but I think it really works. What thoughts on this Fionna and Cake? Like, I guess it's supposed to be a past TV episode, but their mummy adventure. That turns out to be the Queen of Ooh, Sam. Did you like that reveal?
Kind of dumb.
You don't like Queen of Ooh?
I don't like King of Ooh. Why would I like Queen of Ooh?
Queen of Ooh much better than King of Ooh. IMO.
Also, I honestly, given like you know how they do the small like week episode promo things on Tumblr or whatever, the little drawing Johns.
Mm-hmm.
Given that it was like
Abracadanielle, yeah.
Abracadanielle. I thought it was gonna be them, but it wasn't. So I was like, okay, whatever, bye.
Yeah, Abracadanielle in there for 1 second. Yeah. John, what do you think of the Fionna and Cake adventure? Like the actual video parts of it?
It was interesting. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It did feel like a sort of the gender swap version of Adventure Time, as it should be. The Queen of Ooh I enjoyed. She's definitely nicer than the King of Ooh in that she's not actually trying to seize control of the Candy Kingdom or whatever it's called at that point. I like the joke to the Breakfast Kingdom where there's long lines on the weekends, which any millennial who goes out to brunch could probably relate to.
Too, yeah.
TBH. I work the breakfast shift at a restaurant during the weekends. It's not busy at all. So,
okay.
Just so you know.
Maybe you just needed better muffins.
Yeah.
We don't have muffins.
That was the problem.
Well, that's why. But I liked the story. It was interesting. The mummy was fascinating. I liked how they kept a lot of the subtle touches, like the treasure vestibule, not the treasure room. So I thought it was good. I am, however, a little disappointed that they are going down the TV route, because I was such a huge fan of the idea of the Fionna and Cake shows, as a way of getting in the minds of characters. I thought that was one of its strongest assets, and to see that get ripped up, I'm not terribly happy about that. I thought it was such a really neat addition to the show, and that they're just sort of discarding it like that.
So do you not like that these aren't like Ice King's original ideas? It doesn't say anything about Ice King himself?
Right, yeah. I don't like that it's an actual living thing within this universe rather than a parallel universe in which not just Ice King, but in the past it was LSP, and Marceline could impart their view of their place in their feelings towards other characters into the Fionna and Cake series and have it be just a little bit different. That allowed viewers to learn so much about those characters in how they feel they relate into the world. And that's, I thought, was why Fionna and Cake existed. It was a way of putting your thoughts down and your perspectives in a way that wasn't consequential in the universe, but it was also a good way of understanding characters. And I'm kind of upset that it's a living thing, and B, it might just be a TV show that Ice King is just taking and running with.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point, because I think just this kind of like takes away from the original concept of Fionna and Cake, which is that it's just like people like writing their fanfics about Finn and Jake, which I think is just very funny. Like that they turned it into that, and this does subvert that. But I think that I think that kind of still stands, and this is just like a funny conclusion to this episode. I don't think
it's creepy to write fanfic about real people.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't do that, obviously. No shipping real people, no fanfic about IRL people. But I think that still stands. I think this is just like a funny twist on this one episode, and they won't roll with this again. I think it'll revert back, but I think that's a valid point. I could see that.
But they said it was a TV show, though. You can't really just put that back.
I don't think that's going to be like a future plot point. Like it's not. I agree that they're not going to like walk it back, but I just don't think they're going to address it again.
I know, but it's like it's probably not going to be a plot point. None of the Fionna and Cake episodes are plot points anyway. But it's out there though. How do you deal with the fact that it's an actual thing that's out there? And more to the point, how does Finn deal with it? I mean, he's the one with the bazillion questions. He has to figure this out now on his own. Now we have that to deal with.
Yeah, I think we will just not address this again ever, is my interpretation.
Really?
I think this is just not going to be talked about. I think this is potentially the Fionna and Cake finale, too. So I think it's just like a funny way to wrap up these set of episodes. But yeah, I'd be heavily surprised if we even brought this episode, anything from this episode up again. I'd be very, very, very surprised.
I mean, it's like one Fionna and Cake per season ever since they started introducing it. So if this is the last season, I don't think we're going to get any more. Which, okay, now that's out there.
Yeah, even though it was like meant to be part of the previous, so there's a chance that it could have, like, production wise, it was 8, so it could have been, there still could be a 9. But I think there's too few episodes to do another one. But see, I think it's just like a funny way to end it. I could totally see the point of view that it takes away from the previous things, but yeah, not expecting this to be addressed again. Other things from this episode, I think we talked about most of them. They're like doing this weird river rafting in the beginning with these creatures that was
baby shark.
Yeah, that was like the most quintessential Adventure Time thing. Was just these things that turn into whatever they think. It's the time for Ice King's boring book reading. Yeah, and we had the Queen. I love the Queen of Ooh. We had old Fionna is just a random old lady. That was interesting. Like this
old rabbit lady.
Yeah, rabbit lady.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And she's like naked and she just lives in this cave. And she sleeps all day and tinkers all night, much like myself.
Yeah, tinkers with the computer and stays in all the time. Yep, me, right? So yeah, it's that was an interesting way to address IRL Fionna. But
and I wonder if it could be considered a sort of a critique or a riff on people who invest so much of their lives and their personality into TV shows or other just fandoms. Because I feel like I got that vibe somehow, where the only thing she had to cling to was this one old TV show from the past.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if they have a desire to include like critiques like that. That would be fun. Yeah,
because I know like there's, I mean, obviously I can't riff on cosplay or fandoms. I cosplay at conventions. I am a fandom of multiple different things over the years, so I can't say it's so I can't criticize myself. So I'm not gonna really criticize myself. But there are probably people that do in real life that take it too seriously, like she did, where she became that character. She lived her life as just that character, rather than being sort of her own individual. I don't know if that's what they were going with this, but I felt like there was that vibe in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's an interesting interpretation. I could see that.
Well, whatever you gotta do to live on Earth,
But are you really living on Earth if you're doing that?
This is an interesting philosophical debate
I don't
that
know.
rivals abstract.
Life is a lot of pain and sadness, and if you gotta be a person, pretend to be a TV character to cope with it, you do you.
Yeah.
But is that particularly healthy though?
It's not hurting anybody.
Yep. Okay. It's we can debate this more in the comments section. who is right, John or Sam, on this philosophical debate? But yeah, I think this is a good note to wrap up. Not really, but it's an interesting note to wrap up this discussion on. Let's get final thoughts on Abstract, Ketchup, and Fionna and Cake and Fionna. Sam.
I don't have any more thoughts.
Okay.
You took all my thoughts and I said them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sam used up her thoughts in the previous 40 minutes of the podcast. Noted. Yep. John, final thoughts.
It's great to have Adventure Time back on TV. I hope they make it a bit more regular. We're getting into the home stretch. I thought these episodes were quite lovely. There were some good one-off episodes. I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, definitely. Some good stuff here. Very excited for all Adventure Time has to offer down the stretch run, at a very high quality at this point with these episodes. So we'll be back Friday to discuss Whispers and Three Buckets, the last two episodes that are airing this week. And then whenever Adventure Time Cartoon Network decides to bring Adventure Time back, we'll be back then too.
They're going to be airing Adventure Time the 2020 new episodes. Yeah. So they're just going to stretch it.
2 episodes a year. It'll be SpongeBob now. Yep.
Long as they can.
Yep, that's what's going to happen. So thanks for listening, guys. Let us know what you thought of these 3 episodes in the comments. Check out overlyanimated.com for all our stuff. Consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Beatrice, aka Beatrix Strange. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Andy. We'll be back Friday with more Adventure Time and more stuff, including more Starverse and Rick and Morty discussions and Steven Universe, all coming up at overlyanimated.com. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.